What's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's episode of Daily Bitcoin Technical Analysis. Today is October 16th, 2025. And if you watched yesterday's video, then we have obviously broken down out of that channel. So let's get right into it. We got here on the weekly. We'll just take a quick glance on the weekly. As I was saying, the trend is going to be down. Looks like our rally up has decided to come down. And if we correlate this with today's prices in gold, and we just move to a similar timeline, this is the 1 hour timeline. This is the 1 hour timeline. We can see gold extremely bullish right now, coming up and creating this. All right, so what does this tell us? Well, it tells us that the investors are literally sucking all of the liquidity out of cryptocurrencies and buying gold with it, I think. That's my opinion. I mean, like right now, the global economic outlook is bleak, so I think a lot of investors are just, that's what they're doing, is reacting to the daily news cycle of, war, what are we doing, trade war, etc. So this is just more, violence in the US and uncertainty in the near future in the dollar. So there, the US stock markets, bond markets, etc. should be going down. If we take a look at that, I'm expecting it. Yeah, so they've tried to come back up, but they haven't really made it. So if we pull it back to, say, the 90-minute, we've got this bullish trend since August all the way up till October 3rd, where we see the dip. So the trend here is down, and let's pull it back to a daily time frame where each candle is 1 day. We look and we can see that it is still continuing down. So when we came back here, we had a complete oversold hit on the RSI, came all the way back to overbought. Right here, the trend continued up, but the rally is now weakened. And so we are heading in the downward direction. And we can also see this cross is a negative cross, I like to say. Positive and negative, just an easy way to describe it. And yeah, so you got the negative cross still in play. We still got negative volume. You can see this color change means that there's more volume than the last couple. As the volume was coming down, we can see that this last 24-hour candle is now going up. Or so that's an indication there on the Dow Jones, right? That's kind of how the markets are just reacting to, everyday news cycles and political, everything. You understand what I'm trying to say. So back to Bitcoin, of course. When we correlate that with Bitcoin, we can see that they're definitely sucking some close with it, Sam. Sucking some liquidity out, and on the daily we can see it is now coming right down. Remember what I was saying? I think maybe in my first video that it's going to be touching this 200 SMA on the daily soon, and here we go. So the wick was down to 107. Let's ping that. So we got our magnet tool here. We're going to use the horizontal ray, and we're just going to grab this wick, and we're going to make sure that it is the bottom, right? There we go. And we got 107,600.37. That's exactly where the wick bottomed. So yeah, I mean, you can't get much closer than that, and most likely we're going to continue this cycle, right? So where do we go from here? Well, if we pull back to the weekly, remember what I was saying is that the trend is now in a bearish trend. The trend is down, and so the bears are going to take over. And what that means for the future is we have to look at these support lines that are very, very important. And if we look on the daily, is it the daily that I noticed it? No, it was Zoomed into the 270 minutes. Okay. This is one of my favorites to watch. We got this cross. Okay. So this is a very important cross. It is the 50 SMA and the 200 SMA. And this is a bearish cross. This cross is very, very, very strong for the next while. This is going to really drive this down. This is a very strong signal that we look for, right? So what does that mean? Well, that means we just have to keep zooming back out, right, to get this direction. We can see that the direction on the RSI is still down, and we could just get an immediate drop down, right? Same here on the 3-day. When the 3-day is nice and pulled back, we can really see how you got the cross, the bearish cross on MACD right there. Let me just circle it. So it's a bullish cross, but it had very little strength. So it came back down because the bulls took it over from 125,000. And that means that now the trend is downward. And on our KDJ, just 1 second. Excuse me. We have this bottoming down. It's not actually under a 0, so it's not gone negative quite yet, which means that we got more to go. These pull down, these pull down. Okay, so that's usually how KDJ works. And depending on how strong these drops are, then it will show up on the KDJ. And we also have this cross here and this direction. Okay, so remember what I was saying from a while back, that we also have bearish deviation on the RSI. And the reason is I've been watching this for a long time is because these are very, very strong signals. Okay, this is bearish deviation from the price deviation, right? So we got our price action on the uptrend, but we got our RSI peaks on the low trend, right? We're not looking at the bottom, we're looking at the tops for bearish. If we were looking for bullish, we would be looking for this. But what we can also kind of see is that if we do this, we see this kind of squeezing, right? Squeezing right from here, from this top, this bottom to this top, it starts to squeeze out, right? And if we like just pull the RSI up here real quick, you can see what I mean, right? You've got the top squeezing down, the bottom squeezing down, and I mean the next steps would be to complete this, right? It has not completed it since all the way back in June 2022. So we need to start to pull this down and complete this to get ourselves into the oversold area so that the traders can then see an opportunity to buy again, right? So we are not looking at opportunities to buy on the long term. We're looking at opportunities to either short or however you want to trade this, or just clearly stay out of it if you're not going to leverage or trade like that, right? And so yeah, that is my outlook. So our 24 hours, if we zoom in, let's look at the 15-minute real zoomed in here now. We are on a downward trend, right? So if you remember from my last, I was talking about this. Okay, actually, let's just draw it. Get the magnet on here. Okay. And then I was talking about how this was the play, right? And it could possibly do, let's grab the horizontal line and tag it here. Or it could have played out like this, right? It could have played out and tried to come back to this area. That was also a possibility. But the bears took over. And that means that now the trend is down. So we're going to be following this trend, right? So we can still see it possibly doing something like this. in the next, say, 24 hours. So when we come back tomorrow, what we will be watching for from this point on is, let me just clear this up a little bit so we can see exactly what I'm saying before I clue this daily up. What I'm going to be showing you is just the bottom right here. I mean, this direction, this direction right here, okay, and this is possibly going to do this, okay. And if we take our let's get our stuff back. Dun, dun, bear with me, and I'll grab my RSI. And I'll pull this, oops, wrong button. Go back, this up. So on the short-term trend, we can see that they have pulled the MACD way down, right? And we have this massive downward trend. This could definitely come down like this, and then after we get a pull down, we'll come up, okay? And how do we pull some fibs? Well, we can easily get some, if you want some direct numbers, we can pull back a little bit. So let's go on a 4 hour, 270 actually, and pull this back, get rid of this, work with the clean slate, right? This is just, and that sometimes my way of doing it don't work all the time. I delete shit. Okay, here we go, and we're back. So let's go back here, right? If we pull our fib from here to here, now let's see. So we do have some targets. I would definitely target this area, right? Down to 97.7. And there are some other fibs that back this up, and let's see if I can grab that before I clue this up. Okay, so now if we pull this fib from here to the very top, you can see the 0.5 is at 100, right? So I would look at it this way, that the next area for the price is probably right here before we continue the downward trend, right? And yeah, this is going to get ugly, guys. Like I'm not predicting, I don't foresee this continuing all the way out without us pulling back heavily, right? And a pullback for me, if I clear this up, will come from this bottom right here. And I would expect it from this wick, this wick. Okay, I would expect it from this wick I'll just get it right. You have to do some zooming in and zooming in. And I just use my mouse. That's just how I've always done it. All right, but that's the top and that's the bottom of wick. And honestly, we got 618 possibly. I would say here we're gonna be about to 786 for this. You're gonna have this overall. And why do I think that? Well, I just think that because of that's the overall trend right now. So we know this was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You had a 1, 2, 3, 4 down, and for me, this is the next steps. So we're not going to pull all the way back down here, but we are going to pull down to the 65 to 50K. Like, this is realistic, right? start targeting these numbers for the next foreseeable, at least till mid 2026. By just me drawing it here, you got till like March or more. So don't listen to the people out there saying the bullish rally isn't over. They're just not skeptically taking a look at this. So tomorrow we will check in again. It's been interesting to see this drop like that. So that's how we do it. We plan it out and we see if what happens, and we check back in 24 hours, and it gives us a much better perspective than just sitting here watching it minute by minute. Bitcoin doesn't trade like that anymore, and it's very, very difficult to trade it like that. So we need to zoom out, zoom in, get the whole picture. All right, so thank you very much if you stuck around to the end. I will be back again tomorrow with another daily episode of Bitcoin. Thank you very much. Peace.